Doug Walters is a former Australian cricketer widely regarded as one of the most stylish and talented batsmen to have represented Australia during the 1960s and 1970s. Born on April 21, 1943, in Sydney, New South Wales, Walters made an indelible mark in the world of cricket with his elegant batting technique and aggressive stroke play. His early years were shaped by his involvement in various sports, and he soon became known for his cricketing prowess at a young age. Walters made his debut for New South Wales in 1961 at the age of 18, showcasing his natural talent early in his career. His performances in domestic cricket soon earned him a spot in the Australian national team, and he made his Test debut in 1965 against South Africa. Known for his graceful yet explosive batting, he quickly established himself as a key player for Australia, becoming one of the country's finest all-rounders. Walters was also an accomplished left-arm orthodox bowler, which added to his value as a versatile player. One of Walters' most significant achievements came during the 1969-70 Ashes series against England, where he was instrumental in Australia regaining the Ashes. His stunning century at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, MCG, in 1970 is still remembered as one of the best innings played in that era. Walters' ability to play under pressure and in different conditions earned him respect both in Australia and internationally. Walters' batting style was characterized by his ability to play both fast bowlers and spinners with ease. His composure at the crease and his ability to build innings made him a mainstay in the Australian team. In addition to his Test career, Walters also enjoyed a successful career in one-day internationals, ODIs, where his aggressive stroke play became particularly useful. He was part of the Australian team in the inaugural 1975 Cricket World Cup, which marked the beginning of the one-day cricket era. Walters' presence in ODIs contributed significantly to the development of the shorter format of the game. Throughout his career, Walters earned numerous accolades and records, including his memorable performance in 1973 against West Indies, where he scored 2 centuries in the same Test series. His consistency and flair made him a beloved figure in the cricketing world. By the time Walters retired from international cricket in the mid-1970s, he had amassed over 3,000 Test runs and had become one of the most respected cricketers of his generation. After retiring from international cricket, Walters continued to contribute to the game through coaching and commentary. His cricketing insights were highly valued, and he became a fixture in the media, providing expert analysis on the game. Walters also had a brief involvement in managing cricketing talent and became a respected figure in Australian cricket post-retirement. Despite his long and successful career, Walters remains modest about his achievements and is remembered as a man of great character and integrity. Doug Walters' legacy in the sport of cricket is cemented by his exceptional batting skills, his ability to adapt to various conditions, and his contributions to the Australian cricket team during one of its most competitive eras. His place in Australian cricket history is secure, and he remains a revered figure in the sport, with fans and players alike remembering his effortless stroke play, his gritty determination, and his contribution to the development of Australian cricket during the 1960s and 1970s. After his playing career, Walters remained deeply involved in the cricketing world, particularly in Australia. He was a regular commentator and analyst on Australian television and radio broadcasts, where his insightful views on the game and his warm, approachable personality won him a dedicated following. His passion for the sport remained evident in his commentary, where he spoke candidly about the intricacies of the game, drawing from his wealth of experience. Walters was also an advocate for the development of young cricketing talent in Australia. He took on coaching roles and provided mentorship to many aspiring cricketers, passing on his vast knowledge of batting and the mental fortitude required to succeed at the highest level. His expertise was sought after by both domestic players and international teams, further solidifying his influence on the next generation of cricketers. Walters' reputation as a cricketer and an ambassador for the game earned him various honors throughout his life. He was named one of the 100 greatest players in the history of Australian cricket in 2006, an acknowledgement of his impact on the sport. In addition, Walters was inducted into the Australian Cricket Hall of Fame in recognition of his contributions to the game, joining the ranks of some of the greatest players in the sport's history. Beyond cricket, Walters led a quiet life and was known for his humility and respect for others. He never sought the limelight beyond his role as a cricketer and commentator, preferring to live a simple life surrounded by his family and close friends. Despite his fame and success, he remained grounded and humble, embodying the qualities of a true sportsman. Throughout his life, Walters was deeply passionate about the traditions and culture of Australian cricket. He often spoke about the importance of respect for the game, for teammates, and for opponents alike. His love for cricket was not just about playing, but about ensuring that the spirit of the game endured and was passed down to future generations. Even as he aged, Walters remained a prominent figure in Australian cricket, known for his unwavering commitment to the game. Doug Walters passed away on February 8, 2025, leaving behind a rich legacy that continues to inspire the world of cricket. His contributions to Australian cricket, both on and off the field, are remembered fondly by fans, players, and the cricketing community. His death marks the end of an era, but his influence remains eternal in the sport he loved so much. Doug Walters' passing on February 8, 2025, left a profound impact on the cricketing world. Tributes poured in from all corners of the globe, with former teammates, opponents, and cricketing figures alike acknowledging his remarkable legacy. His contribution to Australian cricket, not just as a player but as a mentor and commentator, has shaped the way the game is viewed and understood in the country. Walters' influence went far beyond his on-field performances. He became a role model for generations of cricketers who admired not only his natural ability, but also his dedication to the craft. His willingness to pass on his wisdom to young players, whether through coaching or his insightful commentary, ensured that his knowledge lived on in the cricketing world. In the years after his retirement, Walters' name remained synonymous with the spirit of Australian cricket, particularly during an era where Australia began to establish itself as a dominant force in world cricket. His performances in both Test and one-day cricket became a foundation for future generations, with his approach to the game serving as a guide to many of Australia's later cricketing stars. Many of Australia's top players in the late 20th and early 21st centuries would often cite Walters as an influence on their own careers. Walters was also known for his efforts in advocating for the development of domestic cricket in Australia. He often spoke about the importance of strong domestic structures to support emerging talent, a view that has been widely accepted and implemented in the current Australian cricketing landscape. His time as a selector and mentor to younger players helped shape some of the country's brightest cricketing prospects. Although he never sought the spotlight after his retirement, Walters' legacy continued to shine brightly in the Australian cricketing community. His effortless charm, wit, and love for the game endeared him to fans across generations. Walters was often seen at major cricket events, showing his enduring connection to the game, whether it was at the MCG or sharing stories at local grounds. His death not only marked the loss of a cricketing legend, but also the loss of a figure who embodied the essence of the sport. His role in the shaping of Australian cricket, his performances on the field, and his down-to-earth nature off it ensure that he remains a cornerstone in the history of the game. As an elegant batsman, a steadfast teammate, and a man of integrity, Walters will always be remembered as one of Australia's finest cricketing icons. His legacy will endure, and his contribution to Australian cricket will be celebrated for generations to come. In the wake of his passing, cricket communities across Australia and around the world continued to honor Doug Walters' memory in various ways. Memorials, tributes, and special ceremonies were held in his name, with the cricket world reflecting on his contributions not just to the game, but also to the spirit of sportsmanship and camaraderie that he exemplified throughout his career. Many former cricketers took the opportunity to share personal anecdotes about Walters, recalling his quiet yet steadfast leadership in the dressing room and his reputation as a source of wisdom for young cricketers. His humility and generosity of spirit were celebrated alongside his undeniable talent with the bat and ball. As one of Australia's greats, Walters had a profound influence on the generations that followed him, helping to shape the mindset of Australian cricket players who aspired to combine skill, flair, and mental fortitude in their own approach to the game. In recognition of Walters' contributions, some of Australia's most iconic cricket venues, including the Sydney Cricket Ground and the Melbourne Cricket Ground, unveiled special commemorations, plaques, and exhibitions celebrating his legacy, ensuring that his name would continue to resonate with cricket fans for many years to come. These celebrations not only highlighted his achievements, but also emphasized his impact as a figure who helped elevate the standard of Australian cricket during a transformative time in the 1960s and 1970s. In the years following his death, his family, close friends, and former teammates would often gather to celebrate Walters' life, reflecting on the man who was more than just a cricket legend. He was a devoted family man, a loyal friend, and a person of great character who transcended the boundaries of sport. Doug Walters' legacy continued to inspire, and many young players took his advice to heart, particularly his philosophy that the game was as much about mental resilience and joy as it was about physical skill. For those who had the privilege to play with him or against him, Walters was remembered not only for his outstanding cricketing ability, but for his infectious enthusiasm for life. His famous larrikin nature, mixed with the quiet confidence of a great batsman, endeared him to all who came into contact with him. His infectious personality and love for the game continued to be a touchstone for those who had worked with him in his post-cricket career, whether in his mentoring or his role in the media. He was a true ambassador for Australian cricket, someone who carried the pride of the game with dignity and joy. As cricket continued to evolve, Doug Walters' contributions remained central to the narrative of Australian cricket's rise in international stature. He was remembered not only for his individual brilliance, but also for the impact he made in fostering the development of the sport and its culture in Australia. Future generations of cricketers looked up to Walters, understanding that his legacy was not only one of personal success, but one of a love for the game and an enduring respect for the values that cricket stood for. Through every bat stroke, every wicket taken, and every off-the-field contribution he made, Doug Walters carved out a legacy that will live on as an integral part of Australian cricket's history.